The November 10th, 2020 meeting of the Marion County School Board is called to order. We are the Marion County School District Governance Team. If we choose one word to describe us, it would be student-centered, because student success is our mission. When we come together to work, we are efficient, effective, and productive. Our three most important characteristics are dedicated, transparent, and individually responsible. To work well together, we must demonstrate respect, confront reality, and be accountable. We will always put students first. We will leave a legacy of success. For the courtesy of those listening to the meeting, I'm requesting everyone in the audience to please remove your hats, turn off your electronic devices, or put them on vibrate. Later in the meeting, up to 30 minutes will be provided for individuals to address the board on matters concerning the operation of the Marion County school system or the school board only. Presentations to the board are limited to 5 minutes and are televised. If you wish to address the board regarding a regular agenda item or matters on which the board customarily takes action, you must first complete a peach form located on the table in the hallway. If you wish to address the board regarding a public hearing or a student discipline matter, please complete a lime green form. These forms must be fully completed and received by the board secretary no later than 5:40 p.m. The procedures applicable for each are on a separate sheet. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mrs. Nancy Stacy, District 1.
Here.
Mrs. Beth McCall, District 2.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly King, District 5.
Here.
Mrs. Nancy Thoreau, District 4.
Here.
Mr. Eric Cummings, District 3.
Here.
Dr. Diane Gullett, Superintendent.
Here.
Mr. Jeremy Powers, School Board Attorney.
Here.
Ms. Lisa Panzer, lead social worker. Please introduce who will be providing us with the inspiration and pledge tonight.
Hi, good evening. Reverend Chair Cummings, Vice Chair Thrower, and board members, Dr. Gullett, Mr. Powers, Elena Martinez Lopez. Thank you so much for having us this evening. I would like to introduce Katie Burlisle and Ms. McCall from the Children's Alliance to do our inspiration this evening in reference to Red Ribbon Week.
Good evening. This year, Red Ribbon was different than any of the years past, but let me start by saying, wow. We had an amazing, unique event that yielded excellent results, and I couldn't be prouder of our schools for their participation in Red Ribbon Week activities. As a school district, we made a wave of change for our students, families, and community, bringing awareness to substance misuse. At the kickoff event, nearly 600 of our students and youth came to the event, which was almost 100 more than the previous year. This year, the community was also more involved, having banners and signs and big red ribbons decorated throughout the square and Citizen Circle. 332 adults came out to our kickoff event, which also was increased from last year. This year, we had 13 schools submit entries into the School Spirit Contest. We saw amazing student engagement, teacher participation, and it was evident that our schools truly embraced this year's theme and incorporated our 3 E's of enrollment, enlistment, and employment. It is with a great honor that we present to you the School Spirit winners. Our winner in the high school category is Denellen High School. Denellen High School's teamed up against drugs and sent a clear message that it is healthier alternatives than using drugs. The students watched videos, had reminders and statistics set up around campus. Students were afforded the opportunity to not only sign a pledge and stay drug-free, but to write about it and express their feelings around the campaign. The students wrote songs, poems, and essays all surrounding this year's theme, Imagine What You Can Be If You Stay Drug-Free. Congratulations, Denellen High School.
I'm taking a picture with this one, too.
That's right. Jump right in there.
That's my school song. I'm stay right here by you. I like when you get money.
Three, a couple more.
Excellent.
Our winner for the middle school category is Howard Middle School. Howard made an awesome video showing us how the campus used this year's theme. We saw students making pledges and their responses for why they are going to stay drug-free. The song in the background of the video was impactful, and hearing the students' voices along with their staff as they chanted to be drug-free sent a great message to the entire school and the community. Congratulations, Howard Middle School.
Mr. Renberg, would you?
Right.
And finally, last but not least, our winner of the elementary school is Reddick Collier Elementary. Reddick Collier, upon the arrival to their campus, showed their reason for being drug-free. They encouraged their students to be brave and find other choices beyond substance use. The school took this year's theme of Imagine What You Can Be If You Stay Drug-Free and dedicated that to the students and decided that they would be brave and be happy instead if they were not using substances. The school decorated their doors, the students wrote pledges, and they dressed up as to what their inspired future could look like if they remained drug-free, whether that be a police officer, a teacher, a chef, or more. Congratulations, Reddick Collier Elementary.
On behalf of the Marion County Children's Alliance, I want to thank Ms. Berlau and Ms. Panzer for an excellent, excellent job. Each of these schools received $500 for winning the Red Ribbon Contest. I also want to thank Ocala Drive-In, who hosted this year's Red Ribbon event, and they did a marvelous job. And he has also agreed to host some of our Friday nights Done Right, which we offer to our high school kids. It's a drug-free and alcohol-free event, and he has offered to host some of those for us this year, so we're thrilled. So ladies, thank you so very much for all your hard work.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Will you please stand and join us for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before you go, we want to thank the Children's Alliance truly, but we do want to congratulate Reddick Collier, Howard Middle School, and Dunellen High School. Thank you for encouraging these kids to participate in this and then doing a great job. And Ms. McCall and the Children's Alliance, we just truly appreciate the support we get from you all in the community, so thank you.
Absolutely.
Mr. Brent Carson, Director of Professional Practices, Employees Relations, would like to recognize Marion Essential Support personnel for Non-Essential Support Personnel Day.
Thank you. Good
Hey.
evening, Chair Cummings, Vice
evening.
Chair Thrower, board members, Dr. Gullett, Mr. Powers, and Miss Elena Martinez Lopez. On Wednesday, November 18th, we will be celebrating Education Support Professionals Day. Marion County Public Schools has over 1,300 people in this category who support the district's mission of providing students with the best possible tool for having a happy, productive future, a quality education. This diverse group of people encompasses 36 different job classifications, including our social work assistants, bookkeepers, clerks, desktop support techs, classroom paraprofessionals, special needs paraprofessionals, and various other positions. As someone who has been at both the school and district level, I have seen how critical these employees are and the tremendous impact they have on kids each and every day. We are fortunate to be able to celebrate this group and to thank them for the time, effort, and love they put in at schools and in the district every day. At this time, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Miss April Rose McCoy, who I actually had the opportunity to hire 4 years ago. She is a special needs paraprofessional at Forest High School, and she is also the treasurer of the Marion Essential Support Personnel Union.
Hello, my name is April Rose McCoy, as he said, and I'm at Forest High School. And I am the treasurer of the MESP unit here in Marion County. And I just want to address the board and say thank you. Thank you, Superintendent. And one thing that I will ask is that don't let November 18th be the only day that you say thank you to a MESP. Try to do it every day because they need that to keep going and keep pushing to do what they're doing today. And I just want to say thank you, and we appreciate you recognizing us.
Thank you, Mr. Carson. Ms. McCoy, thank you. Listen, I know Ms. McCoy, she's a hard worker, and she's one of those people that's always in the community doing stuff. But we want to also let our MESP and our support staff know that we can't do, the teachers can't do, the school district can't do what they do without you supporting them. And so we truly understand you have some tough jobs, and as he said, 30-something different classifications. We know that you guys are the one that's holding everybody up, so thank you so much. And we will tell other MESP members that we appreciate what they do, not just on the 18th. So thank you again. Superintendent?
Thank you, Chairman Cummings, members of the board. I recommend approval of the agenda for the November 10th, 2020 school board meeting with the materials in the board packet, those materials distributed to board members at the meeting, and the audio recording included as part of the official record of the meeting, with exception of item D19.1 that has been placed under discussion.
May I have a motion on the superintendent's recommendation?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Thorold, seconded by Ms. King. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the September 16, 2020 special board meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. McCall,
Second.
second by Ms. Thorold. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? There being none, all in favor signify by aye. Aye. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the September 17, 2020 administrative briefing and work session?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. King,
Second.
second by Ms. McCall. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? There being none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the September 22nd, 2020 school board meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Thorold,
Second.
second by Ms. King. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? There being none, all in favor signify by aye. Aye, unanimous. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the October 7th, 2020 special school board meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. McCall,
Second.
second by Ms. Thorold. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? There being none, all in favor signify by aye. Aye, unanimous. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the October 8th, 2020 special school board meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. King,
Second.
second by Ms. McCall. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? There being none, all in favor signify by aye. Aye, unanimous. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October 8th, 2020 administrative briefing and work session?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Thorold, second by Ms. King. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? There being none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
I'll now ask the school board secretary to explain the rules governing persons who wish to address the school board tonight.
In compliance with Section 286.0114 of Florida statutes, the school board has adopted uniform procedures for public speakers who wish to speak at tonight's meeting, either regarding one of tonight's agenda items or a matter related to the operations of the school district. These procedures will ensure the public has a reasonable opportunity to be heard on school board and school district matters. A written summary of these procedures is available from the table in the hallway. Public speaker forms are also located on the same table. The completed forms were due to the school board secretary no later than 5:40 p.m. Tonight's speakers will be called prior to the business portion of the school board's meeting in the order of receipt by the school board secretary. Before you begin speaking, please state your full name and address for the record and spell your last name. Each speaker will have 5 minutes of time. However, if there are more than 5 persons who wish to speak, the board may seek consensus to limit each speaker's time to 3 minutes. When the speaker has 1 minute remaining, the speaker will receive a visual notice to complete his or her comments. Speakers may not yield their time to other people. Speakers and meeting attendees are expected to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. Therefore, verbal attacks and profanity are strictly prohibited. Pursuant to the procedures for public comments, item 6, speakers are not to identify specific individuals other than themselves or their child unless a statement is provided 24 hours in advance. If there are matters dealing with student discipline, including expulsions, they will be scheduled at the conclusion of the televised portion of this meeting. Parents may address the board regarding a discipline matter at that time. To ensure student privacy, only a parent or guardian may use a student's first or last name. Identifying references to or identification of other students and/or their families are also strictly prohibited. Thank you for your attention to the board's requirements. Chair, that concludes my explanatory remarks.
Thank you. I think we have two speakers.
Two speakers. Ms. April Rose McCoy, please.
Hello, my name is April Rose McCoy. I live at 7363 West Highway 326, Ocala, Florida 34482. My last name is spelled ROSE-MCCOY. I'm a special needs para at Forest High School. I want you to sit back and imagine this scenario. A Monday morning at school, bus drivers drop their kids off. Those poor ESE kids are lost and do not know where to go. The general ed students are confused because they have no schedule to know where their classes are. The teachers come to their door, and with no schedule for the kids, they don't know what to do either. Well, eventually the kids just go to a classroom. The teacher has their lesson for the general ed students. The ESC teachers have their lessons up also. But wait a minute, little Johnny needs help in that ESE class. The teacher is done explaining the assignment and is now just sitting at her desk. Johnny is crying because he doesn't understand what to do for his work. Well, it's time for lunch. But wait, no one has prepared the food because there's no one in there to cook it. No need, because with all the trash on the sidewalk, it makes it hard for them to get to the lunchroom anyway. Little Sandy nose is bleeding, but no one is able to take her to the nurse. The teachers can't leave because they have students. No need anyways, because the nurse isn't there. Well, Mr. Jackson needs to order school supplies for his band members, but unfortunately he cannot because there's no bookkeeper to handle the finances. This scenario is just a small picture of what would happen if the non-instructional staff did not exist. I'm here, and I was here in the last meeting, and I watched the other meetings on YouTube, and enough is enough. I felt so underappreciated for what I do at the schools when I was at the last meeting. My peers feel the same way. You spoke about teachers and bus drivers, and yes, they do a great job, but what about the paras who have taken on teachers' roles due to the lack of teachers, such as myself, and still have to do her para duties? What about the paras who are also assisting in nursing stations because of COVID? What about the receptionist that is helping also in the nursing station? What about those IPCs who are working like crazy with kids coming in and out of schools? The list goes on, and all we ask is to be accepted and recognized in public. You say you include us when you say teachers, but that's not my title. What if we said the superintendent does a good job with holding the school board together? Or what if we say the school board chair is really keeping the school district safe and thriving, when in fact it is a collective effort from all of you? We just want to be recognized and included and not forgotten. Why not just say school staff, our district employees? Find a word that includes everyone. Without a hiker, that football will never leave that ground. Without a referee in the game won't start. And without the non-instructional staff, the school will not function. Thank you.
Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. I'm gonna address this. Ms. McCoy,
Yes.
let me say that. Let me apologize for us because that's not our intent at all. As a board, we truly recognize every staff member in our district, and we will never intentionally overlook the non-instruct the instructor, anybody, from the superintendent to the groundskeeper. That's not our intent. We value all of you, and we say it all the time that we value our employees, and maybe we do need to look at the language that we say or how we say it, but please know that we truly appreciate everything you do. So please, and I hope everybody that's listening hear this, because that's definitely not the intent of this board, and I don't believe that's been the intent of any other board that's been set here before me. So,
Yes, 100%. I try to say the collective we, because our school system is so large and there's so many different job descriptions, and every single one of them is just as important as the other. And your words definitely, cut me a little, because I started my career as a classroom aide at North Marion High. So I've walked your walk, and I do know how valuable that position is, and how sometimes you do feel a little bit overlooked because things just keep going and people that are more in front of the scene get seen. But we see you.
I also, our intent was never to overlook anyone in Marion, our school system. You were absolutely correct. Everyone has a valuable position and place, and our schools would not run without each and every one of you. And I also apologize if we ever came across that we didn't value each and every one of you. So again, please accept our apology. And what you said, I will also try to be more careful with the wording, because you're correct, all employees or something. And I think it wasn't intentional. It was just, I don't even know what I could say to that.
I think I have an explanation. I think during COVID, we kind of got caught up with, we were having to really depend on the lunchroom people to get the meals out and everything, so they got kind of front burner. We were counting on the transportation department to get the stuff out there. And I think during that time, because prior to that time, I remember we talked about the paras a lot. I have fought hard from my desk here to have paras in the classrooms, and everybody knows that we have. I mean, and Ms. King, no one's fought any harder than you to have paras. But I do agree, when I think about it, because during COVID, kind of the focus people that it was going on during that time in the schools, were the lunchroom people, because they were getting the meals out, so we were talking a lot about that. And then the transportation people were having to get all that stuff around, and I think that we got kind of caught up in that. And now that things are getting back to normal and the paras are back on their feet on the boots on the ground again, we got to get out of that mode and move back into a normal state where we do recognize all the boots on the ground again, because COVID has kind of consumed us, and I'm looking forward to all the new therapeutics that are coming out and the vaccine that's coming out, so that everybody can get back to normal. But thank you for all you do. Thank you.
And we say we're student-centered, and we are, and we recognize that it takes every single employee to make our students successful. So I apologize if the wording that we used in any way offended any of our non-instructional or our district staff. Your role is vital to the success of our students. So thank you for what you do, and congratulations on being the Employee of the Year. Thank you.
And one more thing, April. In the church, we say something when we unintentionally offend someone. Charge it to my head, not my heart. So, thank you.
Miss Melanie Slaughter?
Good evening, Melanie Slaughter, 4525 Southeast 12th Avenue, Ocala, Florida. SLAUGHTER. I've got three things. I'll be quick. First of all, cheerleading. The cheerleaders are being told by the football coaches that they can't go to the playoffs. I don't really understand why. The parents are telling me that they're willing to transport the cheerleaders to the game so that they can participate like they have all season, and they're being told by the athletic directors that they can't go. And so the parents and the cheerleaders feel like that they're not considered to be essential or important in the aspect of the football game, and they want to be able to travel to the playoffs and be able to participate just like the football players do, and they feel like because they're just cheerleaders and the ADs are ex-football players, they don't care. So I put that out there just for your consideration. The other thing that I'm here for, the number 2, would be, I read the article about teacher salaries and things like that. I just want to bring it to everybody's attention that they didn't get evaluated last year because of COVID. So the effective and the highly effective teachers that would normally get money for being effective and highly effective are not going to get that this year. And there's no way for them to get it. And I understand COVID and I understand the budget, but there's no discussion when you're hiring a superintendent, which I think was a great move. There was no discussion about COVID, we can't afford to hire an appointed superintendent this year. There was no discussion about when we're doing away with Sanford Harmony that we're going to create our own program. How much money is that going to cost? There was no discussion, we can't afford that because of COVID. And I think that you need to prioritize the people that are teaching my 4 children in the Marion County Public School System and show them that they are valued. And I understand the budget, but every time I watch you guys, it seems like they are the ones that get hit first and most often and most widespread. And they are the ones that are important. Because 20 years from now, they're not going to know who the superintendent was. My kids aren't going to know. They're not going to know that I spoke at the school board, and they're not going to know who was on the school board. But they're going to know who their teachers were. Trust me on that. They're going to know who taught them algebra this year. They're going to know who was important to them. And we need to value them like that. They are that important to the kids in this system. And if you're going to put kids first, put teachers first, put parents first, put the people that are affecting children first when you're dealing with money. And the last thing is Evergreen. My suggestion regarding Evergreen is think of it as a community center. Think of it as a place where you can do things to affect positively the community. Vocational programs, credit recovery, where the kids can actually be taught by somebody and not shoved in front of a computer for credit recovery and learn absolutely nothing. If they have to sign up for a class, if they don't get the FCAT score, and they've got to sign up for the ACT or the SAT, let's try to get them help so that they can get that concurrent score and they can graduate and they can go to college and they can do what they want to do and use Evergreen as a community resource for the community to benefit the community. And that's what I have. Thank you very
Ms.
much.
Arda.
Have a good night.
You too. May I have a motion to approve consent agenda items C6.1 through C17.1 with the exception of D19.1 that is under discussion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Thor,
Second.
seconded by Ms. King. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Unanimous. May I have a motion to price proposal to replace air handlers and related equipment as part of the HVAC upgrades at Evergreen Elementary School, Phase 3.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. McCall,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Thor. This discussion, this item was pulled for discussion. I don't know who pulled it.
It wasn't pulled, we just placed it there in the event that we needed to have additional discussion on it. Mr. Knight is there to answer any
Okay.
questions the board might
Okay.
have.
Board members, do you need to have any discussion about this? This is about the air handler, replacing those air handlers. Mr. Knight, come and give us a quick briefing about what's this about, please.
Well, good evening, all. This is actually the third part of the project. You may recall about 2 years ago, I think it was 2018 in the summer, we replaced the air handler, which is like the heart of the operation. And this past summer, that was 2018. 2019, we replaced all of the main piping throughout the school from the cooling towers all the way into the buildings. This third and final piece is the actual air handlers that take care of blowing the air into the classrooms. It's the last piece of it to be done, and if the school is to remain open in any capacity, no matter who's in there, students, staff, or other district people, it'll have to be done. And like I said, this is the final phase of it. It's coming now because there will be a price increase and potentially a significant one on most air conditioning equipment come January 1st. That's the word we're getting from the manufacturers. So the quick scope is it's physically the units and tying those units into the piping system that we already did.
Any question, guys? It was already in the process anyway, so I think we just pulled it just for safety to discuss. Okay. So, Can I get a, motion? No, I'm sorry, that was discussion. All in favor of the, motion D 19.1, signify by aye. Aye. Unanimous. May I have a motion to approve the following cash or tangible donations that have a total value of $77,514.80. $1,000 to Bellevue High School from Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $2,000 to Bellevue High School from Lockheed Martin. $2,768.10 to Bellevue Middle School from Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. 10 Acer Chromebooks valued at $2,427.90 to Bellevue Middle School from Regis Rice Hicks. $4,741.40 to College Park Elementary School from the Public Education of Marion County Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $2,318 to Dr. N.H. Jones Elementary School from Dr. N.H. Jones Elementary School Parent Organization. $4,414.80 to Dunedin Elementary School from Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $1,000 to Dunedin High School from Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $9,520 to A Street Elementary School from A Street Elementary PTO. $4,985.96 to Pheasant Elementary School from Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $5,000 to Forest High School from Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $4,959.95 to Lakeware High School from Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $9,500 to Liberty Middle School for Marion County Hospital District. $1,049 to North Marion Middle School from the Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $1,000 to Oak Crest Elementary School from Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $1,000 to Osceola Middle School from Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $1,725 to Romeo Elementary School from the Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $1,000 to South Ocala Elementary School from Marion Cultural Alliance. $1,885 to Stanton Wearsdale Elementary School from the Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $3,447 to Stanton Wearsdale Elementary School from the Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $2,518.80 to Stanton Wearsdale Elementary School from the Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $3,528.80 to Vanguard High School from Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. $3,085.17 to Westport High School from Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grants for Great Ideas. And $2,639.92 to Wamena Park Elementary School from Public Education Foundation of Marion County Grant for Great Ideas.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. McCall,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Storer. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'm out of breath. That's a good out of breath. Ms. McCall, can you take it?
Absolutely. I want to thank the Public Education Foundation of Marion County and the Consortium of Education Foundations. I can remember when Grants for Great Ideas started, I think maybe we had $2,500 to give away in grants. And now you can see what they give away. And these are not, you know, I think of Ewan Hunter and what he does with his Grants for Great Ideas and all the great teachers that are out there. So thank you to all the businesses who help support Grants for Great Ideas because it certainly makes a difference in our schools. So thank you to the Ed Foundation and the Consortium of Florida Education Foundations.
Thank you, Ms. McCall. The next regular administrative briefing and work session is scheduled for November 18, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. The purpose of the work session is to discuss the 2021 stop loss and 2021 health plan year updates and district-wide attendance zones, Evergreen options. The following administrative briefing and work session is scheduled for January 7th, 2021 at 9 a.m. The purpose of the work session is to discuss construction projects update. All right. Ms. Elena Martinez-Lopez, any comments?
I have two. Just a reminder, we do have MEA Impasse tomorrow evening at 5:30. It seems that it might be a full house, so please arrive early to avoid any traffic out there. And also, I'd like to wish Miss Stacy, it's sad to see you go. You've served us well. You will be missed. And I'm sure you will be. I'm sure you will be. Enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
Attorney Powers?
Nothing from legal.
Oh, that's great.
Things are operating smoothly.
That's wonderful.
And I think we've developed enough of a network now that there would be multiple people telling me if they weren't, so.
Thank you, Attorney. Superintendent?
Chairman Cummings, members of the board, I'll be brief. I have a few brief items. First, too, want to add my thanks to our amazing support personnel. We do see you and we value you, so I just wanted to add to my comments to the board as well. The next item, I just wanted to reiterate that we are working through the strategic plan that was adopted by you as a board for this year, with the goals and objectives outlined in that. I did want to ask, excuse me, for the board's approval and input on moving forward with trying to schedule a board retreat so that we could workshop through collectively as a governance team what that multi-year strategic plan looks like. I've been getting a lot of feedback from the listening sessions, the roundtables, and would love to be able to do that together as a governance team. So may I have permission to at least look at some dates and bring those back to the board for consideration?
Please.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I want to recognize our amazing veterans as we celebrate Veterans Day tomorrow. And while our celebration looks a bit different, we have 276 veterans that are employees serving in our district. And so we appreciate their service. And we'll do a modified version tomorrow face-to-face with just a few people. But we've done something virtual this year. And I just want to take some time to recognize their service and their commitment and thank them for that. Last but not least, board member, Ms. Stacy, it has been an honor and a privilege to work with you. I know it's been a short time, but something I knew very early when I first spoke with you is that your commitment to our students was very clear. Advocate, I think that was our first conversation, was recognizing advocacy on behalf of students. So I thank you on behalf of our 7,000 employees and 42,000 students for your service to our district, and thank you for that, and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Ms. McCall?
Chair, I think I'll defer to you because I know there's an item we need to discuss before we thank Ms. Stacy, so I'm going to defer my time to you.
So I'm going to hold off the rest of the comments. We had a conversation last week about the Christmas parade. So I asked Mr. Whitehead from the city and Sue Mosley to come and kind of give us an update on what's going on with the Christmas parade so that we can make a good decision about what we're going to do.
Reverend Cummings,
And Ms. Crowder is here.
Crowder is here, and I'd like for her to come into the room
Yes.
if she's available.
You can come on, Ms. Mosley, Mr. Whitehead.
Need my name and address? No? Okay.
Let me, before you start, Ms. Mosley, we had a virtual meeting Friday. There was a virtual meeting. Thursday. There was a virtual meeting with the city and the parade organizers, and we kind of talked. I was on the meeting with them, so I'll let Ms. Mosley go from there.
Board members, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent, thank you for letting me come and address you tonight about the Christmas parade. This, I'm good. Everybody stay away. I can't do it. I'll hyperventilate. Sorry. This is our 65th annual Christmas parade. Ms. Stacy was on my committee, or the committee, before I was for over 10, 15 years. It is a tradition in Marion County in the city of Ocala. We are hoping to continue that tradition even in the light of what's going on in today's world. We are hoping that this will bring a little bit of unity back into the community. The city council is reviewing our permit next Tuesday, the 17th, whether or not to approve the permit for the city, for the Friends of the Christmas Parade to move forward with the Christmas Parade. Several months ago, when I had one of my first organizational meetings with my committee in late June, at the time, a majority, all of my committee was there, but also a portion of the police department serves on the Christmas Parade Committee, including then the late Chief Graham. It was Chief Greg Graham who insisted that we move forward with this parade regardless of the situation and continue our planning because he thought it was the right thing for the community in light of everything that was going on. Now, in saying that, his thoughts were we would move forward with the planning because, of course, I couldn't on November 17th to plan a Christmas parade. So we have been moving forward accordingly. Our website was up and running in 1st of August like it always is. We have been accepting applications like we always have, including several school system applications. Our deadline was October 30th. We have since extended that, and we're still getting applications in as of today. So we are moving forward with the planning. We are in our normal stages of planning. However, we are aware that council could vote against giving us the permit, and then there'll be no parade. But at this point, the concern, or I guess the thoughts, was whether or not y'all were going to give the blessing to allow these schools to participate. In saying that, I think we have 14 school applications already. 3 bands, I don't know if they're high school or middle. We do have 2 or 3 ROTC groups, Forest High and Westport, I know for sure. We have the Sunrise Snowmen, who are precious, and they're always our first applicant. They're always very excited to apply, and several other little school groups. So we do have a COVID mitigation plan. It does include everyone wearing masks as well as spectators and participants. For those of you who have been to Christmas parades and ridden on the float and ridden down the boulevard, our staging area does look like a crowded area. However, we only use half of that field. We could space it out, that entire field, and still have more than enough room. I am anticipating this being a much smaller parade. Due to what's happening, and the rumor was out there that the parade was canceled, so we've had a lot of damage control we've had to do. And I figure that we'll probably have much less spectators. So you've got 2.5 miles of boulevard on either side. Those of you that have been in the parade know that people go all the way back, they sit in chairs, they bring their flatbeds, they bring their pickup trucks, and they stay within their family grouping. We will have hand sanitizing stations at every intersection up and down the boulevard. We plan on having them all in our staging area. Like I said, we're recommending masks. As far as social distancing and the groups, I guess bands for the main part, they have always stretched out across the boulevard. It has been one of our big pet peeves that we didn't like for them to do. So, of course, this year we're going to allow that where they'll be plenty apart. I mean, other than, and the ROTCs, it goes the same for them. Now, I know they march tight, but I would imagine they have a COVID plan as well in place for social distancing. So.
Any questions for Ms.
Well, I would like to hear from Ms. Crowder because I'd asked about the filters on instruments, which most of our high schools are now using filters on instruments. We're not sure about middle school. My biggest concern, Ms. Mosley, is not the parade itself, but it is the gathering and the length of time that our students will be at the McPherson complex. That's my biggest concern.
They'll be wearing masks, though, correct? I mean, the students have to wear masks. Is it mandatory? I'm asking. What is there a policy in place?
Only for school functions. We can't mandate policy outside of school.
That would be a school function. That would be with maybe like a football game or anything else. I mean, it would be a school function because the school is sponsoring
A
that.
school event. Ms. Crowder, can you just talk about some of the things we talked about this morning with the band directors and all of that?
The high school band directors and the middle school band directors have put in place safety measures in the classrooms. They do have bell covers. Sometimes they're just like pantyhose, like the little ankle pantyhose covering the bells. A lot of them use the masks with slits and Velcro so they can play while still wearing a mask, or they just pull it down and pull it right back up when they're done playing. We've been able to really control what happens in their classroom. This is a completely different ballgame going out in the public where our city does not mandate masks, so we can't say that all the spectators will have masks on, and we can't say that they'll socially distance when our kids are playing and they're in this. There is a big concern with the staging area because they only have porta potties, and that is a very big concern. Public restrooms are a concern overall. And then the area, they could possibly social distance, but due to a lot of our students being online, our bands are going to have to combine to play. And so that is another question out there. Is it okay to combine our schools? Because we're not really supposed to be mixing up our students with even by classrooms. So this would be middle and high schools playing together. For example, Fort King and Osceola are going to, if we do this, they're planning to play with Forest. So that's 3 schools in one unit. We would have to bus them. We would need extra busing so they could have the 2 to the seat and also bring all their instruments. The band directors are concerned about exposure from the spectators. We talked about at the football games, the parents are in the stadium, but at the Ocala Christmas parade, it's like they're standing right on the sidelines of a football game. You have all the parents right there on the sidelines. So there really isn't, I don't think there will be enough space between people. We also have families that have stated to their band directors that their children will not march in the Christmas parade, even if we allow it. They will not be there. On the other hand, the kids do enjoy the parade. We use it as, we're more than willing to be part of the community. You all know that. We participate every year. This year is a year unlike any other. And at the work session, to me, if Reverend Cummings is not comfortable riding on a float in the parade, the head of our school board, how can we say that it's okay for our students? Our students come first. So if he's not willing to do it, I'm not willing to say our kids can do it.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, Ms.
Let me say this for the record. I won't be over there because I won't be in town. But, and I thought about how it came out the other day, but I won't be in town. So.
Can I make one point?
Yes, ma'am.
And please don't take this out of context because I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't want the rumor mill to get started. Please understand this parade will still continue without the Marion County Public School System. Okay. So whether it's a smaller parade or not, but it will go on if the permit is approved. So.
We talked about on the call the number of people that you anticipated participating. What was that number, y'all?
I got scolded after I said what I said because people keep telling me it'll probably be the largest crowd ever, which will be my luck. We had a downpour all day long, starting at 8 a.m. one year, 4 or 5 years ago. 2013, and it stopped right at 5:30 when we started the parade, but the band directors had already gotten, there was a situation about getting uniforms wet and dry cleaning them, this and that. The majority of the bands pulled out with the exception of, I think, Bellevue High School. We sent that parade down the boulevard, and there were 35,000 people sitting out there in the rain waiting for it. So, that's commitment. I don't even think I would do that. I mean, I wanted to go home. So I would anticipate it being smaller just because people that, are worried or have underlying other health conditions are not coming out for events like this. And of course, they don't have to. Nobody has to come out and be a spectator if they're not comfortable with it. So it's hard to say. I mean, I would think it's going to be a much, much smaller crowd.
As far as the participants in the parade, what's your normal number of participants, and what do you anticipate this year?
Well,
are you limiting the number of participants?
We are not limiting the number of participants, and it's generally around 6,000 participants, but you have to understand probably 4,500 of that is Marion County Public School children. So, if we have a smaller parade with 2,000 participants and 20,000 spectators, I mean, that's what it'll be, but it would be a shame.
Has the ROTC gotten to do much performing this year? I know the football teams got to move on. Have the ROTC been able to do anything? I don't know.
I don't know.
Because this could be an event that maybe it's not suitable for all students to be part of, but maybe like the group you said from Sunrise or someplace, the little snowman or whatever, might be something that some of the groups could do, but maybe the bands where you have to have busing and stuff like that. I mean, there's possibly the parents take them there instead of the buses taking them there. I mean, y'all could work something out. I mean, we can always talk ourselves out of doing something that's a little bit more difficult to pull off. But when I think about the country, kind of where it's at, these ROTC kids are going to go off and they're going to protect us. And I kind of like the community. I think they're important in the parade because I fought for the ROTC years ago. Huge. Y'all probably forgot about that. Me and Sue and I will never forget. But there might be groups that could participate, or maybe some of the bands couldn't because of all the instruments and all the stuff. So,
And to that note, we talked about if they come on by bus, they're coming on bus, they're getting off the bus, and they're being in an open air field. So they're not that close together. And the boulevard, they're not shoulder to shoulder. They go back some areas 20, 30 feet
They ride a
up
bus.
on hills and bank parking lots and all over the place. It's certainly not shoulder to shoulder, even when we have 80,000 people out there. So if they're coming by bus with a mask on and then going outside with a mask on, I kind of don't think that's, not a good argument. If you want to make it where parents have to drive them and we don't use school buses, I mean.
it would be hard though. You have a lot of traffic. It would be a traffic.
But
I mean, they ride buses to school.
Yeah, I mean, so the bus, obviously, if the bus isn't an issue, being outside with a mask on shouldn't be an issue.
Because they ride the bus to school. But this is something that the kids look forward to. And if we're about students and about kids and stuff, I mean, we can be about rules and we can, but these kids are going out to the malls and going out to where they're going to go anyway. I mean, at Christmas time, they're going to be at all kinds of places. And if parents don't want their children to participate, my goodness, a third of them don't participate in our day-to-day school. So I don't know. There might be groups of kids that can participate, maybe some can't. And maybe the band director might say, well, I just don't want that kind of responsibility. But something like that.
Let's hear from Mr. Whitehead on the city. As I said, he was on the phone call the other day, and I know that based on the meeting that we had, you guys are going to be meeting with the council. I'm
sorry, based on the meeting we had?
You're going to be making a recommendation, yay or nay?
We will.
To the council. One of the things that came up on the call, and we talked about, the city had canceled Light Up Ocala. Can you tell me the logic behind why they canceled that one and then how they kind of pushed this one through? Or still talking about this one?
For the record, Ken Whitehead, Assistant City Manager, City of Ocala, 2538 Southeast 16th Street, Ocala, Florida 34471. Whitehead spelled W-H-I-T-E-H-E-A-D. Light Up Ocala was a city event. That's actually one we put on, as opposed to the Christmas parade, which is a permitted event where we're less involved, much less involved. One of the criteria behind canceling, or one of the considerations behind canceling Light Up Ocala was it's literally 10, 15, even 20,000 people in 6 city blocks. A lot of crowd interaction, a lot of people mingling back and forth as opposed to segregated. A lot of city involvement. It is a all hands on deck event, so we have employees required to be there. And there's a lot of them. It's just, it really is labor intensive, and it's for 4 or 5 hours of extended duration. So council asked us to come up on October 6th with a set of criteria that they could use to evaluate whether they wanted to go forward with Light Up Ocala. The criteria that they approved and then used was that the event complies with the guidance laid out in Phase 3 of the governor's order, which includes non-vulnerable populations should consider minimizing time spent in crowded environments. Large spectator events should consider reducing capacity with limited social distancing protocols. And then finally, the event substantially conforms to Health Department recommendation to include mitigation practices. And those mitigation practices focus primarily on social distancing and wearing of a mask. Council looked at all of that. We had a recommendation as a staff that they cancel Light Up Ocala. It was right before the the Thanksgiving holiday, and that played into it as well. We also didn't have as much information as we do now in regards to what crowd size outside looks like as opposed to crowd size inside. Council took staff's recommendation. They canceled the Light Up Ocala event. We replaced it with a series of events that were spread out over time, smaller, less concentrated. Social distancing was more possible, and less intensive staff involvement. On October 20th, they tasked us as a staff to use that same criteria looking at the Christmas parade, understanding that the Christmas parade is not a city event, does not require anywhere near the involvement of city staff. Most of our staff, other than fire and police, are involved before the event goes on, closing down roads, or after cleaning up garbage. At this point, staff's recommendation is that we're recommending that if the insurance, proof of insurance is obtained by November 17th, as the Christmas Parade Committee has assured us they feel comfortable being able to do that. If that information is obtained, that proof of insurance, that council permit the event based on the criteria that they have submitted with the COVID mitigation plan, as well as the criteria that council approved on October the 20th. So that's where we are. I honestly cannot tell you how council will fall on this. It really is truly undecided at this point. It's not as clear cut to us as Light Up Ocala. We do have some additional information we did not have before. The positivity rate seems to be staying in the 3 to 6% range over the last 4 weeks. And we had a large rally out at the airport, the Trump rally, with 12,000 people. And I specifically asked the health department, did you see a spike at any level, any case, anything spiking, any parameter spiking? And the answer was no, although the general trend has been up, just slightly but not significantly. All of that factored into the criteria that council gave us. Staff at this point is recommending that they permit this, and we'll see on November the 17th if council feels comfortable enough to do that.
I have a question. Mr. Whitehead, it sounds like with Light Up Ocala, your concern was for your employees and their risk of exposure. It sounds like for the Christmas parade, they would be involved prior and afterwards, right?
Yes, with one caveat, ma'am. With Light Up Ocala, we recognize that you had a mass of people that were mingling, and that also concerned us, was the ability to social distance at Light Up Ocala. I'm an engineer, I did the math. It just physically was not possible. And that was another consideration for council, was not just the threat to our employees, but also the physical impossibility if the people that we anticipated showed up to social distance. That was another consideration for council.
But social distancing would be a whole lot different down on the square versus up and down the boulevard. You could spread those same people out for miles.
That is part of their COVID mitigation plan.
It's not like it's all downtown.
Spread it out, to try to get families to segregate. That's part of the plan, the social distancing.
And it does usually have families do kind of clump together, neighbor friends and stuff. They do kind of, they're hanging out together anyway, together in the neighborhood, and they kind of come to the parade together.
That was the case when I attended it.
I am interested in that as well, and this may be a question for Ms. Mosley. there's those famous chairs and how soon they go out and people taping off their territories. Do you have any plan in mind to?
Well, I've been begging DOT to allow the chairs back. I'm not sure who's winning that this year. I think they still are. But yeah, I mean, they can bring chairs and they do mark their little areas off. So, and they do separate as families. I mean, that's always been the case. And like I said, pickup trucks back up to the majority of plazas and restaurants and that kind of thing. Restaurants sell parking throughout their, for their in and out. With a smaller crowd, even in our heyday of larger crowds, we have had sparse areas on the boulevard where there were no people at all. I mean, you can see that when you're riding on the float. There's a lot of areas that aren't well lit that get nobody. The areas in the Cascades, that's all pickup trucks backed up there, and people are separate. We are limiting the number of people in our bleacher seats. We normally have 25 ticket sales per bleacher. We are going to cut that down to 15. So that'll lessen what's happening at the Staples Shopping Center. Save-A-Lot has opted not to allow us to use anything. They're not allowing any sort of parade, anything. So that'll be a vacant area. So,
Ms. Mosley, could I ask you, is it a possibility not to have the students there for as long a period of time in the McPherson? Because I do have a concern about the porta potties and mixing the kids, especially if we've got schools that are combining to march together, kids that haven't been with each other. So is there any way we can eliminate part of the time?
I hadn't thought about that, and that is a viable option. The reason why we had it spread out the way we did was because of bus traffic. I kind of have to think this through. You've put me on the spot, but it could work. We'd still have the same amount of buses. It's the traffic situation when the road gets closed. So they have to be in there before they close off the boulevard, or the buses can't get in.
And they all come down?
No, we can't change.
17th?
Believe me, we can't change traffic. No.
They can't come out to 17th and then take 25th and block, because they blocked out 25th like these past few years, and that's where some buses were.
We have special concession to allow the buses to come in when they come in, to get them in. Everybody else gets put on the back burner, and that's why traffic backs up. But we police escort in those buses at 3:30. They have to be in to get in the police caravan, to get out, to get back to dispersal, where the kids come and get immediately back on the bus, and there's no lingering. So it is a timing thing, because the reindeer run is happening, the caravan has to cross the boulevard. Those buses, I mean, they have to leave at exactly 4 o'clock to cross the boulevard at 4:10 to get to 8th Avenue. And that's a critical component that cannot be adjusted due to the reindeer run and the magnitude of people on the boulevard at that point. So, yeah.
You got to get the buses backed up.
I mean, the kids they really don't get there until 3:30. They're on the route at 5. I mean, I line them up at 4:30. They're in line.
Really?
They are not mingling. And they don't, the school kids are the last one. The school kids on buses are the last ones that come in. Everybody else, we try and get them in before that, so the traffic isn't gridlocked, so we can get those buses and horse trailers in, and then get them to 8th Avenue so they can get right on the bus and go. The buses line up in the order of which the bands go out. So as they walk, they just walk and get right on the bus and go.
So Bellevue and Dunellen today, I believe, made the decision to move forward with their parades.
Yes.
This is not an easy decision.
Whatever decision we make is going to
Affects all the parades.
And other communities around the other cities are, do you have those numbers? Okay.
We surveyed about 15 communities to see what they were doing. Leesburg, St. Augustine, some small, some larger, roughly half and half. About half have either canceled outright or significantly reduced, and half are moving forward, many of them with COVID mitigation plans. So there doesn't seem to be consensus in terms of parades for Christmas. It really is half and half right now.
The council is making a decision next Tuesday night?
17th.
17th, yes, sir.
I can tell you, I have talked to most of the council members, and they all are very much in favor of the parade going on. I'm not saying that I have 3 votes, but I do know that they are very much in favor of it happening. The mayor is in favor of it.
You know, we have them at school, we have them on playgrounds. I mean, even if you had to bring in more people, I would come in and help you, you know, as far as keeping the kids separated and kind of get maybe probably some mom volunteers or something to kind of help make sure the kids are separated, make sure there's referees out there to kind of keep them. I would volunteer to do my part and let the kids have some fun. And I mean, we can't, sometimes you just have to leave some, you just have to have faith sometimes. Just some things you can't control. The virus is in the wind. And they're going to be in their neighborhoods when they get out of school for the Christmas break. They're going to be all over the place. And we have them on buses at school. They get out. They're all around the school campus. They're in the hallways. At least at the Christmas parade, they're outside. In our schools, they're inside hallways, inside buildings.
And you can speak to this as well as I can. A biggest part of our problem is wrangling these kids once they get off the bus because they spread out and take off.
Yeah, they're
They
not
don't
together.
stay in groups. That is a hardship for the parade committee because we start lining them up and we can't find them. So, because there is so much room in that field out
Playing
there.
football somewhere. If they've got a ball or something, they can
Would you
pin the ball.
spread that field out
We are
more?
going to. That's part of our mitigation plan. The floats, if you recall, I mean, I know when you come in the dignitary area, we've got the fire trucks and all that kind of cramped together and the dignitaries like to socialize.
that back section.
But the floats are usually 20 or 30 feet apart anyway because the semis have to make that turn and they have to come around to get it back in lineup. So we have to give them front, back, side to side room to drive. We have a whole, there's probably 3/4 of that field left that we don't use in a packed parade. So this will be a smaller parade, of course, as far as
schools
floats.
Isolated some.
Yeah, so we can spread out, they'll be 50, 100 feet apart. I mean, yeah, that's not and they, you know, when they come in, generally it's a handful of people that are working on a float and then the kids get dropped off and we have our drop-off area. So there's no gathering in that area at all and those kids, the police explorers get those kids out of cars and they walk across to wherever they've got their group or their float or their...
And I've worked with Sue on these parades for years, and I can tell you, they're going to get a lot more fresh air there than they're going to get inside our schools. When the buses drop them off and they hit the hallways of the schools, they're inside. This is all outside.
Yeah, and as far as being once they're on the route, that's a moving part there. We don't allow stopping. They're not close to spectators at all.
No.
The police do an excellent job of keeping everybody off of the boulevard. There's officers every 20 feet, keeping people on the sidewalk, if not back further. The Staples area, we keep them, there's 14 feet behind the bleachers that people aren't allowed. So, because our judges are there, Kevin's, the television production is all set up, so.
I don't know. They're safer there than they are at Walmart, that's for sure.
Well, board members, the council is not going to make a decision until next Tuesday. We have a lot of information to look at. Can we hold off till next Wednesday morning? We have a work session anyway, and let's let the council make the decision, and then we can do what we need to do.
Well, the only problem with that is we've got the Thanksgiving break coming up, and band directors may need to start practicing, you know, some parade marching and some other things. I just think that's a long time to wait to let our band directors and those folks, like the little snow people,
I have to speak to that too. I won't be able to do it. We can't get them their information or any of their stuff ready. We are having our drop dead meeting on the 19th. It was supposed to be tonight for our packet pickup.
The application
From
to the
October,
first-
but now it's time.
I've extended the deadline, but I got to know what schools are, and I have to do lineup. I mean, there's a lot to get done, and a lot of these schools haven't applied, so we don't know. If I have to wait till the 19th and then let them start applying, I have.
What's the parade date?
The parade is the 12th. But we also have Thanksgiving holiday and lineup's I've got to do lineup at least 10 days before, because that's a moving fluid.
So if there's a deadline if we approved it next Wednesday, they have a deadline to get it to you by next Friday.
I'm not going to, there's
asking
no
a question.
deadline. I will accommodate anybody I have to accommodate right up to the parade day if I have to. However, it would be so much more organized, and I wouldn't lose any more hair if I could have it sooner.
Anyway, I don't know why.
I mean, there's a lot of work for me, my committee. It's not just me. I mean, we've got a lot of information, and that's where your band directors and everybody get upset with us because we don't get them what they need in time.
Here's my dilemma, and let me just start by saying, I love the Christmas parade. I mean, who doesn't love a parade? Oh, my
We
gosh.
all love it.
Yes, and it is not up to us to decide whether or not the parade's going to happen or not. You know, that's up to the city council. My thing is that as a school district and as a school board, we've pretty much killed ourselves to get our kids in school 5 days a week to mitigate the risk. You know, we put a mask mandate in place, which wasn't 100% popular, but we are surviving and doing pretty well. However, I just read today that 36 kids are going to be excluded because of an exposure. And, you know, we've got the state breathing down our neck with Oakcrest and Evergreen. You know, we're pretty sure testing's going to happen and the results are going to count in some way, shape, or form. So I feel like anybody that wants to participate in the Christmas parade, if it goes on, needs to go and have a great time. But I'm not sure how to justify everything that we've done to mitigate risk, knowing that they're going to go out in the community, kids and people are going to do what they're going to do. All we can control is what happens in our house, so to speak. And that kind of flies in the face of then agreeing to say the school system says it's okay and we're going to provide buses to get you there. I would feel more comfortable by saying, hey, the Christmas parade is awesome, and if you feel comfortable going and marching and participating and being a snow baby, go do it, because I want to see the parade happen. But I also don't want something to happen to where then all the work that we've done, the tireless hours, the multiple meetings, you know, the meetings with the health department to try to get our kids in education, which is what we are tasked to do. You're tasked with the parade, we're tasked with education. And if we can, however we can marry that as best possible, I'm all for it.
And one of the things that would be helpful, if whether y'all make your decision or not, or when you make it, if there's school groups or bands or ROTCs out there that are thinking they want to participate, if they could go ahead and apply. We're not going to force them to be in it if you change your mind, but it would help me to get everything needed and keep things flowing rather than a last minute pulling everything together and then everybody's.
It's way too big of an
upset.
undertaking for you to be put in that position.
Yeah.
I know how
I mean,
organized you
we
are.
can't wait till the 19th or the 20th or
No.
21st to, maybe they're going to do it, maybe they're not going to do it. And, you know, I'd rather just them call me the day before and say, we're not coming.
Parents need to make a plan on what they're going to be doing that day, so
Right.
they're not, I mean,
That doesn't have to involve us.
if I was making a suggestion, I would say, y'all decide if the city approves it, where are y'all on it? And let the kids go ahead and the parents can start watching the city council meeting and they can start working with Sue, getting things lined up. And then if city council says no, well, it's monkeys on their back, and that's the end of that. But I agree, to pull something that's like this off and know how many workers she needs, we need to.
I mean, we need to make a.
Manana's not a good plan, Reverend Cummins. It's really not. Today's a good plan.
Yeah, we're already so far behind it. It's going to be unorganized chaos. I just know it. So I don't even know how to pull this rabbit out of my hat. So.
And I initially had thought about, and I think I mentioned it to you, Ms. Mosley, about just limiting it to the high school bands, but then after doing some checking, that's when I found out that some of those high school bands are so small that middle school bands are combined. And she just said that Forest is marching with Fort King and Osceola. So that's 3 schools that.
And I was going to write you back about that, because then do we eliminate all elementary groups? You know, are we just, I mean, we're targeting just bands, you know, why can't, I'd hate to get into that, because that'll generate some controversy. I don't want to tell anybody, no, it's either all or none, and, you know, whatever you decide,
Yeah,
we'll
I
respect.
think, and I agree with that. We either say our students will participate or our students won't.
Well,
First of
they
all,
can
they're,
still participate whether we stay arm's length from it or not. I feel like that's what I'm hearing.
but they're totally outside. And they're in school all day. They're in school for 6 hours.
Yes, but they need to be in school, that's the thing, and
But then
that's
they're
our
out.
dilemma. This is, completely, sadly, it's contrary to everything that we've tried to do to be safe here, and I hate even saying that.
Are we having football, are there football games and sporting events?
Yeah, but we're only giving 4 tickets, and it's a much smaller crowd, and the mask is required, right? That's part of our policy. So, I mean, it hasn't been easy at all.
Well, the kids will be wearing masks. I mean, if they're part of the school system's thing, I think the parade could require,
Yeah,
could back
that's in
that
our-
up.
That's in our COVID mitigation plan that we
That they would wear a
It's
mask.
strongly recommended.
Yeah. I mean, we can't demand, we have no enforcement.
Right.
either.
But the
Right.
school, if it's a school event, it's no different. If the
Yeah,
kids
so
are
if
going
y'all
to
have the
school
mandate in
event,
place,
then we
then
have
they
our
have
own
to.
mandate already, the school events, football field, football games and stuff like that.
And let's remember, too, why we allowed sports. We have kids that are trying to get scholarships to go to college. They had to play. At least that's how I felt about it. And this is darn COVID. It's cramping everybody's style at this point.
And I love the parade, and Sue, you and your committee, the tireless hours that you put in, I commend you, because I'm not sure I would do it for as long as you've done it. And it is probably one of the best parades in the state, if not the best parade. I'm just concerned about the message that we're sending. If we are so strict with our kids in school, and then as much as I want to see this happen, I'm really conflicted on what to do here, because I don't know if we're sending the right message.
What school districts are other school districts participating in the parades? On these parades that are taking place, are the school
In
districts?
other counties, I don't know, did we didn't question that. I do want to say, just back to your point, and I do need to congratulate Kevin, because I haven't done this yet. It's been my goal for several years to win something. We just anything. Even if I had to create the competition to do it. But so, we always had the designation. Phyllis Ham, God bless her, always said that this was the largest Christmas parade in the state of Florida, and that was based on state National Chamber of Commerce's. They stopped doing that designation and things like that, but we did find I found a contest, and it was a Southeast Regional Festivals something, I don't even know what it was, and we won it. Third place. We won third place in the nation due to the video submitted of the parade. So, it was a lengthy application, and we didn't know we won, and it came up all in the beginning of COVID, and we
Congratulations.
missed all the fun.
Yeah, you won.
It was a group effort, and of course, that encompassed the bands and the kids and, the participants. It certainly wasn't my committee. This is, we do the work because we love it, but we hope the kids enjoy it, and we know that the little ones on the boulevard are the ones that we do this for, and we get, the real Santa from the North Pole, and he always says what a great bunch of little kids we have on the boulevard when he's done, and how happy it made him. So,
Honestly, if we say no to our kids participating, please know that it's because of all that we've done, and it in no way would inhibit us from ever letting our kids participate again, because it's just, such a marvelous, marvelous event. And I'm very conflicted on what to do, but I just am so afraid of the message that we'll send. So
This is when it's hard to be a board member, not just a private citizen, because again, our mission is to make sure our kids are in school every day, healthy and learning and graduating. And, but as a private citizen, I'm like, rock on, I want to be on the float.
Ms. Crowder?
Crowder.
Yeah.
Since March, the Florida music supervisors have been meeting twice a week, and we had the parade discussion regarding Veterans Day first, and no school districts were participating in parades for Veterans Day. I can certainly ask if anybody is considering Christmas, but I can tell you for sure that with the counties that have music supervisors, none of them were participating in a parade.
Thank you, Ms. Crowder. Anybody else?
I've been listening. I think I was pretty clear last week on my stance, and I will still continue to reiterate that, in my personal opinion, it's a bad idea to have a parade, to invite, the newspaper said up to 60. The parade sometimes has between 60 and 80,000 people that attend, and you mentioned earlier that sometimes there's 6,000 students or participants that participate in the parade. I stick by what I said last week. I don't think that it is good for our community overall. I think it could, for the overall being of our community, it's not what's best for it, in my opinion, and that's where I stand. I think the parade is great and traditions are wonderful, and but that's where I stand.
And I respect your opinion. The health department representative, Mark, I don't know.
Landers.
Was
We know him
there.
really well.
Yeah, well, Mark had no problem with the parade. He said, that after the Trump rally, they did not see any rise. That was 12,000 people in a condensed outside area. We're not going to have people condensed like that in any manner. So we hope you do. I understand your position. I've sat in your chair. I get it. But it is outside. We are going to be wearing the masks. I caught COVID with a mask on from a person wearing a mask, and I was very fortunate, but I don't want anybody to get sick either, so.
And I'm more conflicted even now, to be honest with you, Ms. Mosley, because I keep thinking back to one of the things that we're responsible for is the safety of our students. And there's not insurance anywhere on keeping them safe. And I think that we have mitigated this COVID in our district where we are doing pretty well. I don't say we're doing perfect, but we've kept it down. I'm concerned about that, and I think I'm gonna have to, me personally, I don't know what the rest of you guys, but I'll have to say no. I'll have to say no. So I want to call for a vote so we can make a decision.
Well, I won't be here. I mean, this is my last meeting, so the parade happens when I'm not here. But the neat thing is, if you don't have the schools in there, you can put it out. A lot of the dance troops and a lot of the people that maybe wouldn't be in it can fill in some of the slots and be in it.
That's a great point, because then it's the parents making the decision.
Correct. I don't want that responsibility on us. It'll be the parents' decision.
And again, it's not.
No, it's definitely not against Ms. Mosley or the organizers.
I understand.
And I'm sure she understands that, and I'm sure the community understands that. But we are tasked with taking care of these kids and staff and everybody else. And as much as I would love for them to participate, matter of fact, I said that, and my idea for the high schools, because I know this may be the last Christmas parade for some of these seniors to march in. But when we got back that information that these bands are mixed, I was like, oh God, that won't even work. So That's where
We
I'm at.
need a motion. Before I do that, I want to be sure, because it's very important that Kevin's crew is able to get their film. So is this that our students aren't going to participate, but that we're going to allow our technical? I mean, I think that still needs to happen.
I think we can't take that away from them.
No, I think that. Kevin, you got anything to say?
We're happy to participate as we always have.
Thank you.
That's good to hear. Because we've been participating live since COVID started, and, we just are social distance and wear our masks, and, you guys can do that too, right? Okay.
It would be nice if we could get some press out, though, so that some of the churches in different places might want to put a float together. They've got choirs in the churches and stuff, that they might want to be a little bit twist to it this year, to put their choirs, some of the church choirs on a,
Working on that time schedule, that
because these kids are.
organizing, that's the
So
thing.
the ones that have already applied, if you decide no, they're not going to be able to do it then? They're out?
Yeah.
And I also need to say, I think that it's important that it is videoed. I still think we're putting our employee in danger. There's that possibility, in a hypothetical world, in a perfect world, we don't want anyone to catch it. But again, there could be between 60 and 80,000 people. There
But
could
not
be
standing
thousands
next to
of people, but he's still in that crowd of people. And, and I want to remind some of us that we all know someone that passed away from COVID last week, and they didn't have any underlying symptoms. So COVID is real, and it's not fun. I'm going to make my peace with that, because I think we're compromising Kevin in that same situation that we would not ask of our students. So I'll leave it at that, too.
I think Kevin spoke for himself. I think Kevin can speak for himself. If he's not comfortable, he can tell us he's not comfortable.
I agree.
My crew and I have talked about the parade, and we are confident because the area where we produce is cordoned off and police guarded.
Right.
So we've got plenty of space there. With all due respect, Mrs. King, the crowd doesn't reach us. I'm doing this because they really are
away from.
Even on a non-COVID year.
I'm going to say a good 20 to 30 feet on each end of our production area. And the backside is cordoned off as well, and there's usually a police officer here and a police officer here. So we're not concerned with that part of it. We can protect ourselves because of the space that Mrs. Miller allots us, and that we're fortunate we do have police officers there who guard that space. So I've talked with my crew and will reiterate with them, and they always have the option to say no. But this is, if we participate, if my department participates, this will be our 19th year, I believe. Mrs. Stacy, you probably know more than I do.
It's been a long
It'll be I think it's our 19th year providing it as a community service, and that's why we do it, because if you have been to the parade, sometimes it's tough to find a spot
Yes, yeah.
in a good area, a good viewing area. And with COVID-19 this year, perhaps our community service could be more important than ever in terms of bringing the parade to those who either are not allowed or choose not to participate. So, Mrs. King, I appreciate your concern. Please know that my team has talked about it, and my team always has the option, if they're concerned, to say, I'm not coming. We have other people that we can call on. So thank you. We do appreciate that.
That's fine. That's good. And one more thing I'll just put out for a little bit of homework tonight is maybe if you get some time you might want to Google the 1918 parade that took place, because you might find out what happens. So.
No, we already know. We can say it. That was during the Spanish flu, and that was the spreader event, the 1918 parade.
Well, the good news, though, is they just approved a big therapeutic today, the Food and Drug, the one that the president took, they just approved that today. It looks like they're on their way to, between the immunization and the therapeutics, they're on their way
So, so
And frankly, more children die from the flu than die from COVID.
Also
That's a fact nationwide.
understand that this decision is for Ocala, Dunellen, and Bellevue. Okay. So do we need a motion?
So I move that our students for the 2020 Christmas parade not participate in either Ocala, Bellevue, or Dunellen.
Moved by Ms. McCall,
Regretfully move.
regretfully moved by Ms. McCall, for the record. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Ms. King. Any question? All in favor?
Here's the reason I'm not going to vote with y'all, because there are small group kids and little groups in the schools and stuff that's maybe like the little snowman and the different ones. It's very small groups that I don't agree could not participate. If you're under a certain number of participants involved in it, that it could be managed. So that will be why I will not vote with the majority.
So all in favor signify by aye. Aye. Regretfully, 4 of us agreed with 1 not. So for the 2020 Christmas parade, Marion County students will not be participating in any parade. All right. That's tough. That's tough because as a community, we want to get back to some normalcy, but we also have to err on the side of safety. So, board members, I know that was tough for you all, as myself as well, but we gotta do what's best. And Ms. Mosley, you know we support you 100%. And thank you both, Mr. Whitehead and Ms. Mosley, for coming. Thank you. We're going to continue with our board comments. Ms. McCall, you're
No, I'm good. I'm really good.
okay. Ms. Stacy?
I'm good.
Wait a minute.
I will say something.
Okay, I knew something was
Say
wrong.
something here
What is
last
this
night.
about the cheerleaders can't go?
That's the first time
I hadn't heard
Why do we
anything about
keep
that.
hearing these things continually that we don't know about? What is going on? Is there something that someone doesn't understand about the word communication to the board?
Yeah.
Because
It's hard to hear it at a meeting for the first time, like, and same thing with the effective and highly effective. I mean, my world is pretty, I know Oak Crest and Evergreen are different, but they have to have highly effective and effective teachers because of the constraints that they're under. So if our effective and highly effective teachers didn't get their raises, and it's the first I've heard of it. And I hate hearing it at a board meeting because then I feel like I'm being chastised over something that I wasn't even aware of.
and this is kind of like, the old days. And so,
Yeah, we don't
what
need that.
staff needs to do, because this is such a new time. In the old days, staff kind of ran the show. We found out if they wanted us to find out, and if they didn't want to find out, we didn't until it was in the newspaper or something. Things have changed. What they've got to understand is that this now falls on the superintendent's back. When they don't inform us of things and they go do what they want to do, then you're answering to the board. And that should make you really angry with them for us finding this out at this time, because it's a whole new dynamic. They're not used to that yet. They're not used to the fact that when they run their show their normal little way, that now it's not an elected superintendent that do whatever you please, whatever, just keep me informed. It's now on your shoulders, because now you're the one that didn't keep us informed. And so
Was it
some
really
heads
even
may
happening?
have to start
Why
rolling
don't we
here
start with
before they
that?
catch on that they need to communicate.
I can address part of this if you'd like me to. It is my understanding that for the games that are in county, the games that we control, our cheerleaders are able to participate. So for example, Friday night we have North Marion is playing at Bellevue, and we will have cheerleaders there. For the games that are outside of our county, the host district can determine whether our cheerleaders participate or not. And so Vanguard is playing at Crystal River.
Okay.
And I don't know the answer to this, but if Crystal River were to say they choose for our cheerleaders not to attend, then that would be their their choice. And
But their cheerleaders
if our
would cheer?
cheerleaders were not able.
I know, but then would Crystal
That I
Rivers
don't
get
know
to
the
cheer?
answer to that.
Because that doesn't seem right.
That would be
But so that would be, you know, if they said, oh, everybody can come but the cheerleaders, that doesn't even make any sense. Are we saying that to the other school districts, that they can't bring their cheerleaders? Is that what we're doing?
I don't know if we're hosting an out-of-county team, but our in-county games, we are allowing cheerleaders to participate. That's what we can control.
So if we're hosting,
allowed.
so we don't know if we're hosting, does anybody know if we're hosting any out-of-town games for football?
It's down the road. If they
move
win.
forward.
So
yeah.
I think it sends, I think we need to understand the message, and I think that our cheerleading parents and cheerleaders need to understand, did that come from within our district, or was that the host district? And I think that message needs to be communicated. And if it came within our district, then I think if parents are willing to drive those cheerleaders, they ought to be able to go.
It is my understanding it came from the host district.
That's your understanding, but you're not sure.
I'll check on that.
And it just sounds like how it's being, communication is the key. Communication is the key. It's how it's being
Allowing
communicated.
our cheerleaders to participate in our in-county games.
Right.
That I know.
But we need,
And
you need.
so we just need to make sure the message goes out
I
that
don't
they
see
can't participate in county, and it's up to the host county if they're traveling, whether or not they'll participate. We can't control another county's
Oh, but we
decision.
can control our county. I mean, my question is still this, that's been danced all around. If we host someone from out of town, have we told, has our AD decided that they can't bring their cheerleaders? I mean, that's 15 girls or whatever, maybe 18 girls. Who would come up with that idea?
Vianello is going to find that out from Mr. Phillips, whether or not we're allowing other counties to bring their cheerleaders with them if we're hosting. But again, I think the possibility of us hosting a game is 3 weeks away. And that's if certain people win.
Everybody wins.
Yeah, if they win.
Right now, right now, most of our games are
Would you rather get that
in-person.
resolved now?
Indeed,
than-
indeed,
Absolutely.
indeed.
2 weeks from now?
No, indeed, that's why I'm saying he needs to find
That's
out
why I brought
what's
it
the
up.
message, yes.
That's my last comment. I'll speak for the
No, it won't be.
cheerleaders.
It won't be.
My last comment for now.
It won't be.
Yeah. I agree that it was brought to us, now we know, let's find out what the deal is.
Yeah.
And thank goodness for Miss Hawk. Maybe y'all need to make her a little seat in here with a little little bow on it or something.
I think she
That's her
has one.
special
It's in the
seat,
back, right
because
there where Miss
She's
Cra-
told us about a lot of things here lately that we didn't know. And it looks like Superintendent Gullett, you still have some deep state here that's not going through you.
Yes, Ms. Stacy, Chairman Cummings, members of the board, I wanted to address both those items. I was not aware, so we will get the answers and we will follow up with you so
Thank
that
you.
you're all aware.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ms. Stacy, it's still on you.
I'm done.
Your last night, and that's all you had to say.
Had to go for the cheerleaders, yay.
And the baton twirlers.
The twirlers, yeah.
Okay. Ms. King?
I also, tomorrow is Veterans Day, and I would like to thank our veterans for your sacrifices that you've made. We have, because they have sacrificed, and in some cases, even life and limb. And so we're very grateful for that. And again, I also want to take a moment to thank all of our employees, as each and every one of you are valued. And this is a difficult time that's been going through, and we truly could not work as a district without each and every one of you, and that's what I have for this evening.
Thank you. I want to defer and let Ms., I'm going to give my comments now, let Ms. Thor be the last one tonight. Veterans Day is tomorrow. Celebrate your veterans, please. The service that they have given to our country to keep us free, to keep us with the rights that we have. We truly appreciate it. I was coming in town Sunday and I saw the fireworks down at the Veteran Memorial Park, and I heard the music and stuff out there. So we need to celebrate our veterans, especially in times like these, where we know that people paid a high cost for us to celebrate the liberties that we do have. And I just want to let them know that we truly appreciate everything that they have done. Most of us have had come from military families, and and we know the high cost of military service. But then I also want to reiterate to all of our staff, not just our teachers, and I know sometimes we say teachers and make it synonymous to
Everybody, yeah.
to the non-instruct, and again, charge that to our heads, not our hearts. We cannot do anything in this district without the support staff. It makes no difference what they do, whether, as I said, custodians, lunchroom. It does. I have a special affinity for lunchroom ladies. My first crush, the lunchroom ladies. I was in the 4th grade. So.
What was her name?
Her name was Johnny Mae Jones. Her son is the assistant principal at Fort King. So, and she's a member of my church. So I have a special affinity to them. But we need to make sure that we say it the right way, because we obviously we offended them, and that's definitely never been our intent, because we appreciate everything that they do on a daily basis. So again, thank y'all, and again, we apologize as a board. And then I had the opportunity to be a couple of schools today. I saw some unique stuff. I met the new band teacher at Dunellen High School, Mr. Arpin from Kansas, and he is rebuilding that band program out there. And for some reason, Ms. McCall, I don't know what's happened to the band programs where they've kind of fell off. A lot of them have fell off. I don't know. And I had a conversation with Mr. Arpin about feeder schools, and Ms. Crowder, feeder schools, and making sure they used to be. I remember when Dunellen had one of the best bands in the county. Ms. Powell was there, and she made sure. But she had a feeder program from the middle school. And I remember when Forest had such a good band, but Osceola was the feeder school. I played in both of them 1 year in high school because football was calling me. So we have to reestablish those feeder programs into the high schools so that those band programs would be good. Even Westport has dropped off.
Listen, Lake Ware High School was the school.
Lake Ware has
So, you know,
one of the best bands this year.
Jazz band, ooh.
The bands participating together in parades and things like that is a great recruiting tool.
Yes.
And I think last year, when the kids did participate in the parade, I was really impressed with our bands. And I just think that what has happened this year, I just think we've probably lost a lot of kids, and they can't play. You can't be in an ensemble setting, so you've got to spread out. It's not. I mean, Joe can say the same thing. It's not nearly as much fun. The sound isn't as good. You've got filters on your instruments.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of reasons, but I agree, and I think the middle schools were doing a good job. We'll get back to that, and I think it'll come back to life. And last year I was just so encouraged by what I saw in many different aspects. And, we can't sing without a mask on. We can't play without a mask on our instruments or our faces. And I can promise you as a musician that it's not fun.
Right, right. And I actually watched Mr. Arpin, his classroom. He was doing it virtually. And I'm like, how do you do a band class virtually? And so they've gotten creative in trying to do certain things, but it's hard.
Yeah.
So I truly appreciate the job that they're doing with that. It is tremendous. So I love music. I love to see kids playing music. I think when kids learn an instrument at an early age, or it's beneficial to them later on in life. I can't play the instrument that I learned how to play anymore, but I did know how to play at one time. And so I think it touches that creative side of the brain. And then to Ms. Stacy, this is our last official meeting
See y'all tomorrow night.
with you up here, our official board meeting with you. I want to tell you thank you so much for what you have done for this board, for the community. for me, as a new board or younger board member, because I watched you. I pay attention. I pay attention to every board member here, and all of us are different. Every one of us different, but we have some commonalities, and there are one of the commonalities that we're concerned about this district. We're concerned about the students, and we're going to always do what's best for them. And one thing, whether I agree with you, whether I disagree with you, I knew that your point, your stance, was because you really believed and felt that it was going to be for the betterment of these kids and for our district. And I love you. I hate to see you go. I told you that. And we can extend you to the 2021 year.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Allison said no.
She can call me anytime she wants. Say, what would you do? What do you think about this? What's the history? I have a history book on this district, and so if anybody wants to know history and where we are, I'm a history book.
So thank you for the tenacity that you put in. When you fought for something, you fought for it. You went all the way. You had that bulldog mentality with it, and sometimes that's what we need to see. When we believe something, when we truly believe something, hold on to it and make a difference, because you made a difference in this district. So thank you so much. Thank you for all the years you served. And I know that you'll be back on the other side.
I had a goal when I got on the school board to be the leader for this appointed superintendent. Once I accomplished that, I was ready to go home. That was my goal. That was what I ran on, and that was my goal. And so after I got that done, I was ready to go home. So I've been ready to go home a while.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
Ms. Orr?
Yes, sounds like project completed.
Exactly.
I do want to acknowledge our veterans, including my father. This district has always been very committed and passionate about supporting our veterans, and we will continue to, through our policy, do all that we can to make that happen. And tonight's decision on the Christmas parade was very hard, super hard. Like I said, this is when it's very different to be a member of a school board that has an overall mission versus being a private citizen. So I think we're all feeling a little COVID fatigued at this point. It's been tough. Every single person in this district has been asked to go above and beyond, including this school board. I've heard many times from many people saying, I can't believe how often y'all meet, and for so many hours. But that's what it takes when you're committed to improvement and making things better. We're not going to let this break us. And Nancy Stacy, you certainly exemplify, presenting a strong stance. And there's just no way that we're going to let you go without an appropriate send-off.
That's right. So here we go.
So here we go.
Wait, y'all going to sing to me?
Yeah, Mr. Cummings. Here we're going to stand behind her.
Let me go change clothes first.
Oh, no, you need to come back over here. You need to hear this. He'll be back.
Oh.
Oh, I'm going to need that.
Stacy? This is from
Make me cry.
your fellow board member. We're going to miss you.
Thank you.
And there's so many things we could say about Nancy Stacy's DNA. But tonight is goodbye, so we will be nice. The DNA letters, A, C, G, and T, will have to suffice. You're an adamant agitator on many issues. Your fiery passion is just one reason we'll miss you. Some say confrontational. We say committed. There's not a box created into which you can be fitted. So gallop straight into retirement on that horse you've made famous. will never think of unicorns the same way again. Can you blame us? Truly, take your time now with cherished family and friends, and may God bless you richly till we meet again.
And that is your DNA.
Oh, here's your DNA.
Take it with you wherever you go.
Thank you. I remember the day they told, the board member said, if there's a, was it an IN? Anyway, the lady that was, if there's an IN in this room, watch out. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my paper.
Tallying up your score.
I won.
Yes, you did.
And she was warning, if there's one in this mix, you're not going to trick her. You're not going to hurt. Your feelings aren't going to matter. You better have research and facts. And I'm sitting there thinking, I didn't know I was an IN. And from that day forward, it's been kind of a board joke, everyone.
Yep.
It's in the DNA. So.
We will miss you.
Thank
We will miss you, Ms. Stacy.
The board will not be the same.
Oh, I'll come up and make it, I'll come but jazz y'all up a little bit every once in a while.
But truly, enjoy yourself. You've earned it.
Thank y'all.
It's been how many years for us?
Oh, too many. That's, we're going to show our age.
South Ocala days.
We're going to show
Our
our
kids were at
And
South
I was
Ocala.
picketing back then. She was the,
PTO and
she was a
SAC chair.
PTO and SAC chair. And Sue Mosley and I were picketing. But Beth wouldn't picket with us because she was so sophisticated.
It needed to be a matching sign.
So this was a reunion.
Beth involved in it, she wouldn't have any part of it.
So tonight was a reunion with you and Sue.
Well, we go.
And Beth.
And Beth,
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's stop and come together.
Thank you,
And Carmen
guys.
Baines, don't forget Carmen.
We're all there together.
Yeah. So thank you. Any spokesman matters?
Just the regular, last page.
Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Before addressing spokesman matters, I wish to acknowledge that board members have received the alternative placement list for students through October 16, 2020. Ms. Martinez Lopez, are there any parents who have submitted a timely request to speak on their child's disciplinary matter?
No, sir.
Is that the only one? There aren't any, right?
No.
Okay. There aren't any.
Good. That's great. There
So,
you go, kids. Keep it up.
so there being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I think Ms.
So moved.
Ms. Stacy should.
Yes.
Ms.
Ms.
Stacy
Stacy,
Yes.
you
should-
make that motion.
Yes.
Yes.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I second it. You still
Motion,
move it.
the motion has been made by Ms. Stacy that we adjourn and seconded by Ms. King. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
There we go.
Go to dinner, Ms. Stacy, go to dinner.
Thank you.
Now you can go to dinner.
Now you can go eat.
Yeah.
Well, you
So that really is a DNA tower.
Yes.
It truly is
It
a
is.
DNA tower that
It'll
Kelly
look good in your
found.
condo.
found it.